Hi. You know, I don't know how to contextualize a lot of this. For most of those who are watching, I imagine would be people who don't know who Lee Gambin was. Hey, look, his name's on my shirt. For those who obviously do know, you don't really need the context, but Lee was a film writer, film historian. Obviously, he passed away in mid 2024, back in May. And since then, it was almost incidental, put myself in the place of, I want to collect all the works that he worked on, to the best of my ability. I'm actually going to start with the books that I have, which I'm missing his book on the Howling, and I think it's called We Can Be Heroes, which is a collection of essays from different people that he edited together. Those are the only two I don't have for his books, at least that I know of. Movie-wise, though, I have collected all of them that have currently been released, because there is actually a letterboxd list, which I would like to actually credit the person who put it together, despite the fact that they actually missed a couple. And I even realized that while I was taking them all off the shelf, and I'm like, wait a second, where's this one and where's that one? They missed about 4 or 5 releases. So Bill Ackerman put up this list on Letterboxd, which I'll link down below. It is not up to date, so hopefully Bill watches the video and is able to add the extra ones, because I'm not friends with them on Facebook. I probably should. Maybe I'll post this into the Facebook group and people will know about it, but it doesn't matter. I was able to put in a lengthy amount of research, and this helped a lot because it emphasized not just the films, but the releases, what particular labels they were for, and what contributions he made. And that was a vital step, because there are several of these films that had several different releases in different countries from different labels. He didn't work on all of them, not to mention some of them he's completely uncredited. I've got at least 2 imprint releases that he's uncredited for, and an Arrow Video release that he's uncredited for. I just know that because of this list, he put it together, mostly because he was friends with 1 or 2 people who worked on the release, and he was basically able to get them to work on it, basically, whether it be an audio commentary, or a video essay, or a written essay. So yeah, I'm going to go in alphabetical order of every single release I have, detailing to the best of my ability what he did. So this is going to be a very long and detailed video. This is for those who want to actually pick and choose the right releases that he worked on, for those who want to have a solid, idea of, hey, this is a visual of what I need to find, this is exactly the kind of style or whatever. If I know of alternates, I will suggest them, because some of them had licensed features that went to different brands. I know Orca, the killer whale, it was the Umbrella release he did a commentary on, which was ported over to the Scream Factory one, but it wasn't ported over to the Studio Canal 4K. So, actually, I don't even know if it was a commentary. I think there was a commentary, but it might have just been a video essay. It was one of the two. There was a couple of different ones like that. It's going to be a headache to have to detail them all, but that's the point of this video, so it's going to be long. So, I'll get into it, and we'll start with the books, and we'll go from there. Alright, well, I'll start with, I don't even know what order he releases in, which is kind of stupid of me. But I'm going to start with Massacred by Mother Nature, exploring the natural horror film. As you can tell, I'm still reading this currently. I take a while to read things, but this is a very detailed look at the eco-horror film, with images, with posters, and a whole bunch of stuff, his own anecdotes. I love how he puts his own personality very much into his words. You can tell that by certain times where he'll mention certain actors that he actually knows, and he'll say how much of a fabulous person they are, or he'll mention certain films and how much he loves it because of his own relationship to the film, not just because of what the film actually entails or whatever. So fantastic to begin with. Then we have Hell Have No Fury Like Her. This was the first book of his I actually bought, The Making of Christine. The only book of his I got him to sign, of course. It's just a funny thing to get done at the time, and now it's a very cherished possession for exactly that reason. So, also, really good book. Beautiful film, so it's good to get a great history of it, and the amount of research that Lee would do on stuff like this, it's phenomenal. There's various versions of this available, so I'll show those. Nope, nothing wrong here. The Making of Cujo, which of course is about the movie Cujo. He also did an audio commentary, but we'll dive into that later. But yeah, these are all similar ideas where it's like interviews and little essays, and it's mostly interviews with people, which is the more interesting part. Again, oral history. Well, not an oral history because those are like verbal, but this is written history. So yeah, we have We Can Be Who We Are, movie musicals from the 1970s, which is self-explanatory. It dives into movie musicals from the 70s. It's good. It's chunky. There are two of these. This is Tonight on a Very Special Episode When TV Sitcoms Got Serious. And Lee was a huge fan of TV shows in general, TV sitcoms, and this is a great representation of his thoughts on it. It's actually a collection of different writers, not just Lee, which I think makes it a bit more interesting because you get different contrasting opinions and stuff. But again, hefty amount of words to read, but definitely worthwhile, especially if you're a fan of these older TV shows. We got King of Bangor, which is actually a play that he wrote, a one-act play based on Stephen King. I got it on Amazon for pretty cheap, which is great. You gotta love it. I love how the picture that they have of him, he just... me being a guy who, when I used to have hair, would like to comb it, man, he just didn't give a shit. I love it. It's great. Then we have one which I almost forgot to mention in my last collection kind of video, if you will, the Bride of Frankenstein book, which is edited by Emma Westwood with an introduction by Sarah Karloff. But he actually, it's even signed by Emma. Wow. They all came like that if you went to the first screening, which is great. That was my introduction to Emma, which is wonderful. This has an essay by him, I'm tired of living and scared of dying, but with more of a twang in all of those letterings by Lee Gambin. I'll show you the 137 over here. Yeah, as you can tell, it's a very twang-heavy kind of vocabulary. Very nice. And last but not least for the books, we have Like Being on Mars, An Oral History of Carrie. So I guess it is considered an oral history. I always thought that was just someone reading it out, but I guess not. This is obviously a gigantic book on Carrie. He spent years putting this together. He was friends with so many of the cast, some of whom I love seeing in stuff like Twin Peaks and whatever, which is great. It's a book that I've actually kept a 2024 program in, which was a coaster for a while. It's pretty worn, but it's still there. And I've got this in it as well from the funeral. It's just a nice size of a book to keep it in. I got to the stage where I forgot where it was. I panicked. I was like, where did I put it? And I found it, put it straight in this. I'm like, I'm keeping it safe. Yeah. And one last book is Creatures of the Screen, the uncensored and unofficial history of kissploitation on film, television, and home video, which is by John Harrison. Yay, we love John on this channel. This one has two different essays by Lee, one on Godspell, which I'm very interested to read. It is also in dedication to him as well, so I'll hopefully be able to provide links down below where you can potentially pre-order it. It should come out in the next couple of months. I know it's due this year, so that's good. It'll be nice to get my hands on a copy of that, so yeah. Anyway, I feel like for some kind of context, just a brief history of my own in regards to Lee. I had known him for 6 years. I'd known him since 2018, my second year of uni. I've mentioned this in some videos before, and some of you, if you're friends with me in person, know this already, that he was working at Minotaur at the time. It was a pop culture store in the city, and I went to... I used to go there frequently in my youth, and I went there one day after uni with my mate, and we were looking through the film section. They had Men, Women, and Chainsaws there, which is a great essay on films, and they had a great film section there. And of course, I'm studying film. I gotta buy film books. I gotta make myself more of a nerd and whatnot. And he had popped up, and he was mentioning, talking about them, whatever. I don't remember a lot of the specifics, but I know enough that he mentioned how he had the Cinemaniacs on that weekend, and because he was always plugging. He mentioned how they were presenting a film that was having a presentation, I think pre and post film presentation by Craig Martin and Eloise Ross, both of whom were my tutors and lecturers at university at the time. And I was like, oh shit, I know those people. They're my teachers. Me and my mate, they were our teachers. And Lee was like, oh, you gotta come, they'll get drunk and talk about movies, it'll be great. So I went. My mate didn't, but I did. And for me, it's probably almost accidentally the most life-changing experience. The most life-changing interaction I've ever had. And it's one of those things you don't realize. I mean, unless it's like something dramatic, like a car accident or something, you don't realize the level and the weight that it has. I'm getting shaky talking about this. This isn't good. I'm trying not to be emotional in this video. But it was great. I only went a few times, twice that year, and then I didn't even go again till probably around 2022, mostly because I was busy 2019, pandemic 2020. They moved from the back lot to Thornbury, and I was further away from Thornbury, and I couldn't be bothered going all the way over there. But then they went to Acme in like 2022 at Fed Square, and I was like, I can do that. It's only a half an hour, 45-minute train ride. I can do that. So I did, and I went almost every single time since then. I wish I went more, but that's how it goes sometimes. But Lee was the constant thing that made me go, because I didn't make friends there for years. It wasn't until I met Phil and Caitlin that I actually became proper friends with people and started to mingle and started to connect with everyone, which is one of those wonderful things about the Cinemaniacs, is just that ability to socialize with people, even if it's just staying back after the movie for a drink or a chat, or just to hear Lee rant about a movie while he's just half drunk and smoking every single cigarette he can find. And it was great. So as much as it was only 6 years of knowing him, again, I saw him plenty of times at Minotaur. The amount of times I would see him at Minotaur, and I went to Minotaur mostly to see him in the end, because it was just like, I could get movies cheaper, and he was always able to convince me to get something. And that was wonderful. So, another thing that I always didn't want to go to the Cinemaniacs to buy movies, but you know what? If Lee's there and he's going to sell movies, I'm going to fucking buy some movies. Yeah, so because of that, I've bought a lot of movies from him that he actually worked on, Killdozer in particular being the most iconic experience I've had. Because I picked it up, it seemed like a goofy title for a goofy movie. Wow, a bulldozer that's going around killing people, and him mentioning how that one's great, it's got a fantastic commentary. And of course, you look at the back, you realize he did the commentary, and I realized, oh, he's a sneaky bastard. So, yeah, let's move into the Blu-rays now. I'll dive into more personal anecdotes as we go. Sure, why not? Our first pile is the letter A. If you don't know the alphabet, this is going to be confusing. I'm grabbing props, because I got so many, I want to try to put them on something so I can not have to bend down as much. My knees are not what they used to be. If they're ever good, I don't know. Anyway, we start with Affair in Trinidad. This is the Indicator Powerhouse release. Lee contributed a audio commentary in 2021. To some degree, he might have additionally done essays and video essays and interviews and stuff. I'll try my best to find them on these, but for the most part, it was a commentary. I'll try my best to detail them. If I miss any, they'll be on screen. I'm going to do a lot of editing for this video. Alice in Wonderland. This is the 1933 adaptation from Kino Lorber, which features an audio commentary by Lee Gambin. Some of these, it's worth noting for Australian buyers, some of these are Region A. So if you don't have an all-region player, worth getting one if you want to get these. I think Laser is a good brand for it. It's cheap, but it works. Oh yeah, and most of these are imports, for obvious reasons. He worked on a lot of Kinos. This one, for example, All My Sons, Kino Lorber. He did an audio commentary with Kat Ellinger. The next one I don't have yet. It's called All of Me from 1984. According to the Letterboxd list, he produced some upcoming features, but the release has not been announced, so I don't have any details, so I just don't have it because it doesn't exist yet. Oh, okay. Amityville. He worked on the second film, The Possession. I believe he did interviews. I'm going to have to look up. Unfortunately, wasn't a commentary. This is the Viavision release, which comes with 3 films. This is actually from the Scream Factory edition, which is long out of print, but I was able to get this for about $100, which is a lot, but it is 3 films plus some documentaries and a buttload of special features. If I look at, wrong page. So in this case, it just says that Lee helped put together interviews for the Shout Factory release. One of those classic things of Lee just knows a bunch of people and helped to put something like this together. In this case, it has the possession of Damiani, which is an interview with the director, Adapting Amityville, interview of Tommy Lee Wallace, A Mother's Burden, interview of Rotanya Alda, who not just was he friends with, but he did commentary tracks with Rotanya as well, which is also crazy because when I noticed her on screen, I'm thinking, I've seen that name before. She's on a bunch of commentary tracks I have. They were friends. So that's also great. I mean, he was friends with a lot of people. Family Matters, interview of Diane Franklin. Father Tom's Memories, interview of Andrew Pine. Continuing the Hunt, interview of Alexandra Holzer. So, and a commentary with Alexandra Holzer. So this, again, is the Viavision release, but you can still get the, Scream Factory version. They're both out of print. It's unfortunate. It's going to be a trend. A lot of these are out of print. Annie on 4K. This one I still am yet to actually dive into in terms of what he's actually done. A lot of them I got within the past month and have not properly looked into it, but it just says that he produced special features for the Columbia Classics 4K release. Included in the Columbia Classics 4K set. The picture on screen of what the set looks like, it features several films, including It Happened One Night. There's a To Sell With Love. It has several releases on it, including this version of Annie. It's the only way that you can get this release so far. I actually got it as a Christmas gift. I was able to bribe my parents, which is great. It does come with, as it shows there, if it'll focus, a slew of special features. So I'm not specifically sure which ones he worked on, but again, wouldn't be surprised if it's unaccredited work. It's just, he just did a lot of stuff. Because there's a booklet on the set, which I was hoping would thank him, like have some actual credit to people who worked on the set, but it doesn't have anything, so I don't know. It is a big set. It is a nice set, though. It's one of those classics, it's 6 films, and it's expensive, but it's actually like 8 or 9 films. It comes up to So With Love, Part 1 and 2. It has 2 films from Annie, the original 33 one and the musical. A good variation. One of them is like a war film, which comes with 2 different mini-series adaptations as well, plus a bonus disc of adaptations, so a lot of stuff. Then we get The Antichrist. This is actually the imprint version. There was a Kino Lorber one, which he initially worked on. To my knowledge, the 4K UHD from Kino Lorber, which has different artwork to this, has the same commentary. This one I would prize as the best release in particular because it actually does have a lot of special features. Also available in Australia, region free. But this does feature an audio commentary with Lee Gambin and critic Sally Christie from 2022. Great release. Then we have Ants, or It Happened at Lakewood Manor, which is the more traditional name for it for some reason. This one comes with a film commentary by Lee, which is great. It has an audio interview as well, which he might have worked on. Actually, it has audio interviews with a bunch of people. I wouldn't be surprised if I look it up. Lee recorded an audio commentary for the Kino Lorber release. This release also includes his interviews with Barry Van Dyke, Barbara Brunwell, Anita Gillette, Mosey Dryer, and Valerie Landsberg. So basically, all the special features you get on this disc are from him. This is the Kino Lorber release, Region A. I don't even know when I got this. I'm pretty sure I got it from the Cinemaniacs. I didn't even know Lee worked on it. That was one of those things when I found this list, realizing, oh my god, Lee worked on so many releases I have. Audrey Rose. This is the last for the letter A, from Imprint, which he worked on a video essay. That I've Been There Before, Reincarnation on Film, a video essay by Lee Gambin from 2022. This is the Imprint release. To my knowledge, also out of print, but not too hard to find at JB or occasional resellers. The letter B. This is not the biggest stack, surprisingly. Some of these are huge. Some of these are very minuscule. It's a mix. So we start with Baby Blood. This is the 4K from Kino Lorber. They did a Blu-ray originally. It is just a commentary with Lee Gambin and Jared Kahan. It's the same as their previous version, so if you're wanting to get it and you're able to get the other version, which again is still from Kino, but it's just the old Blu-ray, which I believe is maybe out of print now, but probably not, because again they just repackaged it in this version, which I wouldn't be surprised if this version, because it's pretty new, it's very new, came out after his passing. Some of the Kino Cult ones actually start with a tag on screen, in memory of Lee Gambin. So a nice thing that they did on a bunch of the releases that he'd already worked on years prior to his passing. So yeah, sure, it's good. Then we have Backstreet, another Kino Lorber. This is just a commentary of him and costume historian Alyssa Rose. They frequently did collaborations. This is the 1941 release. I believe Powerhouse has a version as well. He only did the commentary on this version, so worth noting to make sure you do the research to find that this is the one you're after from Kino Lorber. This one was a hard one to find. This is The Beast Within from Arrow Video. He actually contributed a booklet. There is actually alternate artwork to this set. He contributed a booklet, which is limited to the first pressing. Those were the hardest ones to find, if I'm going to be completely honest. The Curse of the Were-Cicada. Lee Gambin explores The Beast Within. This was an out-of-print... Oh, actually, I think you can still get the Blu-ray of the film. I know Kino Lorber has a release as well, but it was the essay that he worked on. So this is actually the artwork for the set. So if you're looking for it, that's what you're going to find. But again, you have to find the one that has the booklet, which was difficult enough. I was able to find someone selling it on eBay, and they showed pictures, which had the actual booklet. I was able to buy this as a bundle with 3 films. Luckily, the person was selling all 3 together. Made it easier. They were the hardest ones to find, the one with the limited first pressing booklets. Then we have Berserk, the Joan Crawford, Jim O'Connelly, okay, sure, film from Powerhouse Indicator, which he contributed a audio commentary with Eloise Ross. So, yeah, Powerhouse release. This is the standard edition. I believe there was a limited edition, but he only did the commentary, so there's no stress about that. Then we have The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, but that's too late. I already did. This one is part of a Burt Reynolds set, so you can only buy it in the set. There is an individual release for this film, I believe, from Kino. It is not the same version that Lee worked on. This one features a video essay called Nothing Dirty Going On, Sex Work in Musicals video essay by film historian Lee Gambin. So again, you have to buy this in the set. Which is not a bad set. It's called The Box of Burt. Comes with several things and some booklets. I believe this version, actually. Oh, it does. I put the booklet in this one. John Harrison wrote in this booklet. I was surprised Lee didn't, but that's okay. It's a really nice booklet, it's a good set. The films aren't phenomenal, but it's how films are sometimes. But good video essay. Some of these I have watched. Some of them I just haven't, because there's a lot. Billy the Kid vs. Dracula. This one was a gift from John Harrison, actually, because John worked on this commentary with Lee. This is, so commentary of John Harrison, Lee Gambin, from Kino Lorber. This was a film I watched on YouTube one time. I didn't think it was good, but at the same time, them doing a commentary is great. I've listened to a couple of their commentaries already, and they're fantastic. So, and John had a second copy lying around, because sometimes when you work on releases, you get sometimes 1 or 2 copies. So luckily, he was able to give it to me, and it's much appreciated. Then we have Bela Lugosi, Bela Lugosi in the adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's Murder in the Rue Morgue, The Black Cat and the Raven. He did this is from Eureka, Masters of Cinema. He did a written essay in the booklet, I believe. No, maybe not. This one was this a commentary? Cats in Horror, a video essay by writer and film historian Lee Gambin. Okay, it was a commentary, but it was on the Black Cat. So it's worth knowing that this is a 2-disc release. The Black Cat and the Raven being on one disc, and Murders in the Room all being on the other. So you don't need to get the limited edition version, even though it's pretty easy to find this, because a lot of these don't go out of print a lot of the time for the Eureka ones. So yeah. But that one is Region B. Black Moon Rising. This is the alternate artwork. This, if it helps, the main artwork. This is from Arrow Video. That's the main artwork. I think he did a commentary track. Yeah, new audio commentary by Lee Gambin. I always find it interesting when they emphasize certain details as to what they worked on. Like, say, if he did Murdered by Mother Nature. I keep saying murdered. He did Massacred by Mother Nature and all this stuff. So, like, it's emphasizing his credentials. In this case, it actually emphasizes Show Me the Making of Christine. Wow, that's not even the actual title. They obviously did this before the book was published, or at least if it was published at the time, it must have been the original title, because Show Me is a quote from the movie. But that's interesting how they've actually given it the wrong name. But it is an audio commentary. Then we have Bloody Birthday. Again, alternate artwork. This is the Arrow Video release, limited to just release in the US, even though it is an all-region disc. This was the hardest one to find. This was one that I was able to find. That's the main artwork for the set, because that is the original poster, which is on the Severin version. There are so many releases of this film, mostly in the US, which is annoying. It was the booklet that I was after. I had to find someone on Facebook who had a copy, and it went well, to put it simply, because obviously it's in my hands now. So he contributed this essay. Again, first pressing only. Born Under a Bad Moon, Children of the Revolution in Bloody Birthday. So, yeah, like I said, these were the hardest ones to find, because I had to make sure that they had the booklet. And sometimes they pop up on eBay, but sometimes they're not the ones you're after, they're just standard versions. We have Body Parts. This is a all-region release from Imprint. Lee contributed a audio commentary. It's a slip version. Then we have from Severin in the US, which is a all-region release, The Boys Next Door. This is one, what did he work on? Does it actually stipulate what he worked on? It doesn't actually stipulate what he worked on in this release, which is interesting. Yeah, I know that he did. I imagine it's producing interviews, because there's a whole lineup of things there, but nothing that actually specifically references Lee. So, yeah, the actual letterbox page doesn't reference it either, but I already had ordered this film from Severin, so, yeah. Another Kino Lorber, we have Brain Donors. This one he contributed actually, it's a audio commentary by director Dennis Dugan, moderated by film critic and author Lee Gambin. So, yeah, Region A, but Brain Donors. The Brass Bottle, a Kino Lorber release again, audio commentary by author/film historian Lee Gambin, which includes an exclusive interview with star Barbara Eden. Gotta love it. It's great with those ones, because most of the time he'll just call them up while he's doing the recording and be like, hey, you want to do an interview while I'm doing this commentary? He did that for Halloween 3, and it's fantastic. This is The Bride Comes Home, which is just a solo commentary track by Lee, the 1935 Kino Lorber release. And the last for B is Buccaneer's Girl. This is another solo audio commentary by Lee, again, Kino Lorber, Region A, 1950s, all that stuff. The largest stack, the letter C. We start off with the ever so fantastic Can't Stop the Music. I'm not being facetious when I say that. Amazing film. Maybe not amazing. Insanely goofy film. But Lee contributed a commentary, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, with podcaster and Village People expert DJ Maynard. So that's good. It is 4K release. It is 4K and Blu-ray. It just came out that way when it was released. So I believe this was released after his passing. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure it was. Either way, you can still get the standard Blu-ray. Either way, both of them, Region A. The 4K itself is all regions. So, yeah. Then we have, and this has several releases, standard and standard 4K. This is the limited edition release for Carrie from Arrow Video. Has the whole booklet and everything. This one he contributed a audio commentary with Alexandra Helen Nicholas. I don't think he did anything else on this one. I'm pretty sure he didn't. Obviously he did the big book. That's why I'm thinking he did something else. But yeah, commentary track with Alexandra. Wonderful commentary track. One of the first ones I listened to him on just before I did my interview with him. But yeah, really good. It's a fantastic 4K as well. Definitely worth getting. Then we have The Cat and the Canary from Kino Lorber. This is a solo commentary track. Again, Region A, 1939 film. Then we have Cat's Eye. This one features interviews with actor Robert Hayes and animal trainer Teresa Ann Miller, one of which, I think it was the animal trainer one, Lee actually contributed to. In this case, it's worth noting that some of these early Umbrella ones, he wrote the questions, and they're posted up on screen as slides, and then the person answers. But you can very much tell immediately just from the writing style and the way he phrases a lot of his words, the fact that some of his questions, one of them, I can't remember which release it was, emphasizes the fact oh, you worked on Cujo in this film and that film. What was it like working with animals? And you're like, okay, that's Lee. Immediately. I don't even need to look at the rest of the interview, but I know it's him. I don't need to watch the credits to know it's him, but he's still credited in the credits section of the interview. Cat's Eye is a pretty fun film, actually. Strange one. I had to actually borrow that initially from Phil and Caitlin, just to double check which version it was that I needed. Then we have this. This one's annoying. This is the limited edition, unfortunately, release for the, Enter the Video Store Empire of Screams, in which he worked on an essay for Cellar Dweller, which is the third film in the set. You can get these separately, but not... It's the limited edition factor that is the booklet that he worked on. So there's no on-disc features. Another one of those issues I had to deal with getting these is getting something like this, the booklet. However, it does also feature an essay by John Harrison, which is pretty good. So we got... Where is it? Panels of Purgatory, Horror Comics, Monsters, and Artistic Integrity in Cellar Dweller. Page 43. There we go. So yeah, again, it's annoying to have to get the specific limited edition because it had well sold out by the time I went to get it. Yet the version I bought was still mint condition, so I very much am happy with that. Mint condition is in still in that shrink wrap. So some of these were very expensive purchases, and I know probably during most of this video you're going to be wondering, but Julian, how did you afford a lot of this? Sold Blu-rays, worked my ass off. I have several jobs. And also YouTube monetization pays for a lot of this, which was great. But yeah, it was an expensive journey. Then we have one of those few benefits of when I looked up Lee's name on Amazon, the Chicken Chronicles popped up. I think I got this from Amazon. I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, I would have gotten it in the big haul I did from the Kino Lorber, courtesy of Hyundai. This is a solo film commentary. I think I also knew this because Emma Westwood had posted about it. So, yeah, this was not on the original Letterboxd list, so worth noting. Chicken Chronicles from Kino. Who'd have thought? One of the few times I thank God I'd already bought this a couple of years ago. Children of the Corn. This is a double release he worked on. He worked on the first film and the second film, I believe. I'm going to have to look specifically for it. So it says, Lee wrote the booklet Praise God, the influence of the child preacher in the reference to Children of the Corn for the 4K release, and also for Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. He recorded an audio commentary in conversation with director David Price for the Arrow edition of this, which is the limited edition box set. Isn't that wonderful? But yeah, no, definitely references him on the second film for the new audio commentary. I think it must be in the booklet. Page 45. Praise God, there he is. That's not Lee, that's a kid. Anyway, yeah. Again, that's the limited edition version for the Children of the Corn trilogy from Arrow Video. This one is the only release I have of this label. It's Glass Dolls Pictures, Glass Dolls Films, an Australian label that went defunct almost as soon as it came up. I'd never heard of it before. I had to look up what exactly it was because this is Class of 1984, which has several releases, including some Scream Factory ones. I didn't know this existed as a label. One of those benefits of looking through Lee's Facebook, I was able to actually find which one, because he had shared the images for it, because it emphasized that he worked on a booklet. I was able to find this on eBay for, I don't know, $30, I think, maybe 20. It was actually surprisingly cheap. So it has a booklet article by Lee Gambin. I don't think there's actually a specific name for the article, but it does, of course, reference at the last page a whole little biography for Lee. Well, it's the second last page, there's images after that. I don't think there's a specific name for it. Oh, The World Belongs to Me, Dystopia, and Leftover Hitler Youth in Class of 1984. It's very stylized. It's a really interesting release in general. And it does mention collector's booklet. So it doesn't actually say that Lee worked on it, but has a lot of details. Again, this one's a pretty difficult one to find, but sometimes you can get it for a good price if you can find it somewhere. Then we have Coma. This was another one that was not on the list, the letterbox list. I had just looked up Lee on Amazon, and it popped up. New audio commentary with film critic / historian Lee Gambin and novelist Aaron Dries, or Drays. So, yeah, this is just the standard, well, it happened to come with a slipcover, but it is the Scream Factory release for Coma. Region A. This one was surprisingly very difficult. Couldn't find it anywhere. Happened to go into Play Music DVD one time looking for a different film, and lo and behold, they had this. This is, I don't know, I'm not a big reader of classic literature, but some would say a white whale to a lot of people. Luckily, it wasn't, because I kind of started looking for it about a week or two beforehand and then found it. Which is great. This has come back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean. There is another release from a different company, not the one that Lee worked on. He did an exclusive audio commentary. It even says, new and exclusive feature-length audio commentary by film historian Lee Gambin. Also has a booklet with new essays by critic and writer Alexander Helen Nicholas and Travis Crawford. So, a wonderful release, very hard to find. Couldn't find it anywhere again. Was so thankful that I was able to find it from Play Music DVD. They didn't have it on their website as well, which made it a bit more troubling, but there was the occasional releases that I found from them, which had exactly what I was after. Not to mention they knew Lee as well, so they very much understood my plight of looking for these specific releases. Then we have Uranian Dreams, 2 homosexual films by Eloy de la Iglesia, or at least I think that's how you pronounce it. He actually worked on Confessions of a Congressman from 1978, which is only on this release. Not a difficult release to find. I was able to get it on eBay from a standard seller, which is fine. It has Sex Post-Franco, the Queer Sensibility of Eloy de la Iglesia, a video essay by Lee Gambin. It also features a video essay by Alexander Helen Nicholas on the first film. So, yeah. I believe this is all regions as well. It doesn't... region free. Then we have an out-of-print one from Kino, is Country, which again is a exclusive audio commentary, just a solo one. This is a 1984 film. I was able to find this on eBay, so again, not for a good price, but I was able to find it, so that's good enough. I think I actually bought it with another film. I think the person had 2 films the lead worked on, so I liked when that happened. We have Crime of the Century. This was the second last film that I had to get, because I tried getting it on Amazon from a second-hand seller, third-party seller I think it was, and it just didn't show up. So I ended up just buying it the standard version from Amazon instead. I got my refund, that's all good. Audio commentary by author/film historian Lee Gambin and costume historian Alyssa Rose. This is from 1933. Then we have Crisscross. This is from Eureka, Masters of Cinema. Lee produced a audio commentary which also features actress Britannia Alder, so one of many that they worked on. He did not work on the booklet, so audio commentary. That is a Region B release. Crocodile. I believe this has two names. Does it have something else of a name? Crocodile Fangs, apparently. Synapse Films release of Crocodile or Crocodile Fangs. It's an all-region release. Lee worked on the audio commentary. There's also a video interview of the director. Did he work on that? No, it just stipulates that he worked on the commentary track. So, yeah, that's good. I haven't seen this one, I don't think. It does come with a booklet, but I don't know if that's a booklet of essays. No, it's a booklet of ads for basically porn. Right, Synapse, I forget sometimes. Last but not least for C, Cujo, obviously. He did an audio commentary for this release. This is the Kino Lorber release. You can still get the standard Blu-ray, which also has his commentary. I'm pretty sure this is a double disc edition. It is. It's got 2 discs. So again, for those that are 4Ks from Kino, you can still buy it. Like if you don't have a 4K player or whatever, the Blu-ray disc will still be included. It doesn't hurt to double check, but for the most part, I don't think I've ever seen a Kino 4K that doesn't have the Blu-ray, and all the special features are on the Blu-rays. So yeah, it's just the commentary he did. Now we're up to D. Dark Age. Australian release from Umbrella Entertainment. He worked on, it was a panel, I believe, a bicentenary with Byte revisiting Dark Age panel discussion with film historians Lee Gambin, Alexandra Nicholas, Emma Westwood, and Sally Christie. So I believe that's on every release of the Umbrella version of Dark Age. So that's great. It's another one of those classic ones that I happen to have on the shelf, and I'd bought it years ago at like Supernova when I met John Jarrett. So yeah. Then we have The Day After, a out-of-print, very hard and expensive to find. This comes with an audio commentary by film historian Lee Gambin and comic artist/writer Tristan Jones. Region A release does come with 2 discs, which features the television and theatrical cuts of the film and alternate artwork, but this is the main artwork on the release, which I prefer. Ooh, this is a fun one. Day of the Animals, another Severin release, classic eco-horror. Audio commentary with Lee Gambin, author of Massacred by Mother Nature, and whatnot. All-region release, great film, really fun. One that he talks about in his book. This one was an annoying one because I was like, oh no, I have to get the US version. Day of the Locust, the limited edition version only released in the US from Arrow Video. That's the main, that's the reversible artwork. There is a version done by Imprint, but it is a different version. This is a Region A disc. Lee, this is the most insane one I think that he's done, because this film is 144 minutes long, and Lee contributed a brand new oral history audio commentary conducted by writer and film historian Lee Gambin, featuring assistant directors Leslie Asplund and Charles Zyko. God, I'm not great with names. Zyko? Production associate Michael Childers, actors Granger Hines and Pepe Cerna, title designer Dan Perry, costume designer Anne Roth, assistant editor Alan L. Sheffland, and assistant camera operator Ron Vidor. Holy shit. There's a lot, but that's not all. There's also Jeepers Creepers, Where'd You Get Those Peepers? Brand new video essay, or visual essay as they pronounce it here, on the film and its themes by writer and film historian Lee Gambin. This is a fucking hell of a release. Only available from the Arrow Video Store in the US, but I do believe it's still available because it's not an uber popular film, but you don't have to get a limited edition, you can just get the standard version. Wholeheartedly worth recommending. Fantastic new transfer and a very long commentary track. And again, a video essay. It's amazing stuff. Then we have The Daydreamer. This one I was actually able to find just before I really started diving into all the releases that Lee worked on back in, I started basically in October, really going hard into getting them all. This one I found at Lee's treasure sale. I say that because he owned it. Caitlin had made a couple of these, which are little slides that just say, from the library of Lee Gambin. This has an audio commentary by Rankin Bass historian and author Dick Goldschmidt, with film historian Lee Gambin. So, yeah, it was one of the few... It's actually a Studio Canal release, so it's a studio release. But yeah, just one that I picked up, and he happened to do the commentary. I'm like, well, he did the commentary, it's here, it's available, I'll buy it now. Then we have The Dead Zone. One of the few times I'm happy I bought an imprint release that I doubled up and got a Scream Factory release as well. Because unfortunately, Scream Factory has a new transfer, but these guys have a fuck ton of special features, including, but not limited to, Frank Dodd and the Cujo Connection visual essay by Lee Gambin. So there's a lot on this release, amazing special features in general, but it does include Lee's video essay. This one's so good I had to buy it twice. I didn't, I actually bought Primetime Panic 1. But this is Primetime Panic 2. Lee worked on a written essay for The Death of Richie. So this comes with a slipcover, it's a whole limited edition release. It just says booklet essay by Lee Gambin. It's a very weighty release because each film gets its own disc. It's a beautiful release. Like, I'm not going to be able to show it off beautifully on this video, unfortunately, but it comes, like the booklet, everything looks like an old TV guide. It's wonderful. But this is Jaff Delivers by Lee Gambin. So I think it's Jaff or Jaffe, Michael Jaffe and the made-for-TV experience. And given how much, again, Lee loved his made-for-TV movies and just TV shows in general, which I have a fondness towards TV movies. I think they're really interesting. I think just on the note of TV, that was the last time I saw Lee. For those who don't know, I saw him at the Astor. He was doing his big project, which was the TV one, which I know I have the Astor little receipt for it still, actually. It's pretty worn, but I still have it. I can't remember what it was called. Why can I not remember what it's called? Stay Tuned. That's what it was called. It's called Stay Tuned. It was a selection of TV shows, TV episodes that he presented at the Astor, and yeah, that was the last time I saw him. So, which is nice as well. It's weird because the last thing I saw in conjunction with him was an episode of Twin Peaks, and that's when I decided to leave because I was like, I've been here for 3 hours now, and I'd already been there after work, and it was late. It was like almost 9 o'clock, and I was just like, I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. It's been a long day, but I had a lot of fun there, and I went out and talked to Lee after because we talked during the intermission, but I luckily saw him outside with Emma Westwood and someone else. I can't remember who the other person was. But I ran into them downstairs near the bar, and they were about to go back in and watch Twin Peaks, and I was just talking to him about Twin Peaks, which was nice. I mention it now mostly because it's been, as of filming, it's been a week since David Lynch passed, and he was my favourite director, so to have that kind of connection is interesting. It's amusing to me as well, because Lee didn't like The Return. He preferred the soap opera stuff from the first 2 seasons, which I'm like, that's reasonable, but he was interested in rediving into the film, the show, the Return. Obviously, he never did, but yeah, I don't know, it's just one of those few times where I'm like, I really am thankful that I actually did that and actually went, because I was just like, not that interested. It could be interesting, there's some TV show episodes I could enjoy, I don't know, and there were some wonderful ones there, an episode of Maude, an episode of The Addams Family, a good variety of stuff. But I was really proud of him, and I let him know that, it was one of those things where it's just like, I knew it meant a lot to him. So many of my friends are artists, it makes sense that I kind of had that understanding that this means a lot to him, and I want him to know that this was a really fun experience, and yeah, I took a lot of pleasure in being there that night. It was like, this is great, I really enjoyed it, so yeah. Anyway, let's keep going because it's a long enough video as it is. The next one we have is Destry, which is a part of a Audie Murphy collection from Kino Lorber. As you can tell, it's still in a shrink wrap. I have not taken it out. I've taken it out if it's plastic, who cares? Destry, you can only get it in this trilogy box set. It's not even a trilogy. Audio commentary by film critic / author Lee Gambin and actor / film historian Gary Frank. So, yeah, it comes with Sierra and Kansas Raiders, none of which include anything that Lee worked on, but it's 3 films in a set. Not difficult to get, because again, it's Kino Lorber. These ones aren't particularly out of print, but I was able to get these thanks to Hyundai, so that was great. And now it's out of its plastic. It lost all of its resale value. Anyway. Then we have Diary of a Mad Housewife, a Frank Perry film from Indicator Powerhouse, Region B. I believe Lee worked on a commentary track. Theatrical cut audio commentary of actor Retanya Alder and film historian Lee Gambin from 2022. I don't think he worked on anything else in regards to this release, but it does come with a slew on the back. You can get a standard edition, but I'm pretty sure a limited edition is still available. You don't need limited edition. Then we have Dogs. Dogs. We like Dogs. Dogs has a DVD release as well. Both of them are from Scorpion Releasing. Lee worked on the liner notes. Liner notes, when you open it up, is the alternate artwork. It's weird, but it's true. Yeah, it's just a whole essay by Lee, so that's great. I've actually read this before because I borrowed the DVD from Phil and Caitlin. Most of the time, early in those days of looking for Blu-rays, it became and even DVD releases, because there are DVD releases I've had to go for price reasons. I found this and realized, I got to make sure I get the right one. They happen to have a copy. I watched it. I read the thing. I was like, well, if I can't get it, at least they have it. That was a good mentality until I just decided to buy everything. So then we have Double Crossbones. One of them that you might be thinking of, which you won't be unless you've actually seen the list on Letterboxd. I'm missing one called Dracula's Dog, but it isn't. It's the very last one that'll be shown in this video. Anyway, this is a Kino Lorber. He did a audio commentary with, again, actor/film historian Gary Frank, much like Destry. So yeah, Kino Lorber. And the last one for D, Dream Child, which is a solo audio commentary for Kino Lorber. Now we're on to the letter E, and we start with Eagle and the Hawk, Kino Lorber release, solo commentary track by Lee. So Kino, gotta make sure it focuses. Endangered Species, which is from Scream Factory. I believe this was not on the list, on the Letterboxd list. This is just a audio commentary from Lee, so yeah. This one, which I've actually done a video on prior, a review, is Endless Love from Shout Select, which Lee contributed a audio commentary and a couple of interviews. I'm pretty sure one of the interviews, there's several on there, but I'm pretty sure one of them Lee actually did, but the rest of them were all stock ones that someone else had already done. So yeah, I might be wrong on that one. I just know that some of them were not done by Lee, but others were. Some of the releases from Scream Factory and even Kino varied like that. Then we have Enemy Mine, a pretty fun film actually, which features exclusive stills gallery and essay by Fangoria writer Lee Gambin. It is noted that it is a written essay. You might notice there's no essay here. It's on the disc, which is very strange. Because I bought this mint condition from JV Hi-Fi years ago, so there's no way in hell I'm missing the actual essay, but it's just on the disc, which is really bizarre. I don't even know if I noticed back then when I first watched it. I don't think I was big on special features back then. Then we have another out-of-print umbrella. This was not easy to find. The Entity, which I was able to borrow from Phil and Caitlin one time. Excellent film. This is Finding a Voice, a conversation with composer Charles Bernstein. I believe that's the one that he did the interview for. It was only for this umbrella release, not the Scream Factory release. This was also out of print. I was able to get this with another film, luckily for free. My work gave me a $100 voucher, which was beautiful. I could use it on whatever. And so I went to eBay and bought these. So this one and another Silver Bullet. So this one's terrific. Great film. Really fucked up. Then we have some classics. We have Exorcist II, The Heretic. This is one of his last releases. This is probably his last release for Arrow Video. They actually tribute it to him as well. Notably, shout out to Peter for the artwork. Peter's great. We love Peter on this channel. Has original artwork as well. It is the commentary that Lee worked on, and it is a very interesting commentary. It's not a solo one. He did it with, it's on the original premiere version, I believe. Yeah. New commentary by film historian Lee Gambin and filmmaker David Kittredge, director of the forthcoming feature Exorcist II, feature-length documentary Exorcist II, Heretics. So it's mostly Lee interviewing Kittredge. So yeah, but it is worth noting that the essay itself, the booklet, at least for the limited edition, did actually have a commemoration for Lee on the very bottom there. This is the only one that has a proper written commemoration to him. Like Kino, again, had their on-screen things. There's even another one that I'm about to show you, which also references that. This release is dedicated to the memory of Lee Gambin, one of a kind. It's pretty sure it's meant to say a one-of-a-kind, but it says one-of-a-kind film critic and historian who died whilst this disc was in production, a regular contributor to Arrow Video and many other labels around the world. His anarchic joy, deep knowledge, and passion for cinema were second to none and utterly infectious. His passing leaves a huge hole in the lives of all who knew him. You were stunning, dust. So, that was a really good one to get. I didn't expect that when I bought it. Again, the limited edition version with the booklet, but I was going to buy that anyway because after he passed, I knew he loved this film. It's an interesting film. Not great. I mean, most of us know that. I mean, he wouldn't have said it was the best Exorcist film, but he still loved it. So, you know, his enthusiasm was very much so there. Not just that, his enthusiasm was copied in this. So this is actually the 4K release for Exorcist 3. They also did a Blu-ray release a couple of years ago, which I already had, which also had the limited edition booklet by Lee Gambin. I don't think there's anything else that he worked on in this release, but I'm pretty sure it was just the booklet. Illustrated collector's booklet featuring writing on the film by Lee Gambin, archival, you know, stuff and whatever. So these two are both UK releases, limited edition. This one just specifically because of the booklet. It's just that the other one, the Exorcist 2, references Lee in the booklet itself, but this is the essay. This is a reprint because, again, they had already done Exorcist 3 a couple of years earlier, but this is a brand new 4K, so I figured, hey, it's a new 4K. I don't have that on 4K yet. I might as well get it. And I thank God that I did because it actually says dedicated to the memory of Lee Gambin. So it still has that reference to him, even if it's not as explicit as the Exorcist 2 release, which I think makes more sense because, again, the Exorcist 2 release was brand new, whereas this was not. So this was an archival essay that he had written for it. So, yeah, but still, good release. Then we have a DVD. Kino did a bunch of DVD releases of their Blu-rays, exactly the same transfer, just on a DVD disc. It was the only way to get some of these for a better price than the Blu-ray, because they're both out of print. This one, he did an audio commentary. It is region 1, so again, you need an all-region player to listen to it. I had to get this from eBay, so yeah. Still, it's good to have it. It just sucks it's a DVD as someone who loves Blu-ray over the format of DVD, but at the same time, I'm buying it not really for the quality of the transfer, but rather for the actual special features. Then we have Firestarter. This was another one that I bought just after Lee had passed, from Viavision. It is I believe it's audio commentary by film critic / historian Lee Gambin and novelist / historian Aaron Dries. So that's all that he contributed, which was the commentary. This release in particular, which I don't think has had a standard edition yet, it was only the first film he worked on, just the commentary, but it's a great film, so it's like there's no reason not to get it. But yeah, Viavision release from Australia. I'm yet to actually listen to it because I only watched the film for the first time last year, so yeah. Then we have the Kino Lorber release of First Love, which happened to have a slipcover. I appreciate it, sure. This comes with audio commentary by star William Catt, that guy, and film critic / author Lee Gambin. I really want to listen to this one. I haven't seen the film yet, but it's like, I love it when Lee just gets on like stars from the actual films. It's great. Imagine just having the guy who was the main guy in the film be like, hey, let's talk about this shit. Wasn't it great? This one, I already had one of these films, but I had to get this specific release, the Marlene Dietrich at Universal from 1940 to 1942. Lee worked on The Flame of New Orleans, which I believe is a commentary. Flame of New Orleans feature commentary by film historian Lee Gambin and actor and film historian Britannia Alder, limited to 4,000 copies. It is a kind of digipack set. It's a very strange one from BFI, but as you can see there, it still details the special features as well, and has the disc. So yeah, I only say that I basically doubled up on this because I already had Seven Sinners, but it was a pretty cheap Blu-ray, so I'm kind of happy to have this instead. So yeah, and it comes with a booklet. It's a beautiful release. Very nice. Food of the Gods from Kino Lorber. This was a Kino cult release, another one that actually references the fact that, you know, in memory of Lee, I think this is the first one I noticed it on that, and it kind of made me really sad before watching the film, so I didn't enjoy the film as much. But it does have audio commentary by film critics slash authors Lee Gambin and John Harrison. It specifically references John for his book Wildcat, the Films of Marjoe Gortner, because Marjoe is one of the guys in the movie. He's the main guy. Wow. So yeah, this one's great-ish. I'm not huge on the film, but it's fun. Gotta love some eco-horror. And this one, the last for F, is Francis the Talking Mule, the 7-movie collection. This features several versions that Lee did. He did all commentaries. You've got Francis the Talking Mule commentary by Lee. You've got Francis Joins the Wax. Film historian Lee Gambin and Stacey Lane Wilson did a commentary. And Francis in the Navy, which was a commentary with Lee Gambin and Paul Anthony Nelson. So he did 3 different commentaries on 3 different releases. 3 different films in the set. So again, from Kino Lorber, Region A, hefty disc set. Now we're up to G with Gay USA. There was the DVD and Blu-ray release for this. It's not specifically referencing Lee, but he did help to put together basically the whole release, the documentaries, the short films, because this is a huge amount of documentaries and short, a huge amount of... Is it short films? No, it's just a huge amount of documentaries and shorter documentaries about gay pride in the USA, specifically in the early runs of it in the 70s and whatever. Very, very good release. Amazing documentaries. I keep thinking they're short films. They're all just documentaries, but they're amazing. It's good stuff. There was a Blu-ray release also for it. Both of them feature the exact same stuff. So for Gay USA, it says Lee, Jenny Olsen, and Frank Jaffe curated bonus features for the Altered Innocence Blu-ray, which included, and there's a DVD, of course, which I have, which included the addition of short films Gay and Proud by Lily Vincennes, Gay Power by Sharon Hayes and Kate Millett, and The Women's Liberation Cinema, Parade from Ronald Chase, and Freedom Parade by Wakefield Poole. Worth noting for Gay USA, the DVD is region free, so it's all regions. Then you have The General Died at Dawn. This is a Kino Lorber release, which also features Britannia Alder, another classic commentary. Then you have Kino Lorber's release of The Ghost Breakers. This is a Bob Hope film, solo audio commentary by Lee Gambin. There are other releases for this film, but it is this specific release that he did the commentary for. Go West, Young Man. This one annoyed me. This is not the film, but the fact that I had to get this separate release because I already had a Indicator Powerhouse release, I'm pretty sure, that featured a slew of her films, including this one. But this is a solo commentary by Lee Gambin and exclusively on the Kino Lorber release. So, yeah, that annoyed me a little bit because I already had the film. Maybe my favorite of Lee's releases, obviously, it's Godspell, one of his favorites films. This features actually more than I realized. It's got the audio commentary by Lee, which is an excellent audio commentary, but it also features interviews with the cast and crew, all of which conducted by Lee. So he did a lot of work on this one. It's all regions. I mean, if you're going to get one that Lee worked on, this is the one to get. He emphasized for me to get this to the point that he ordered in a copy for me, which I was like, I could get one myself, but he really wanted me to have the film, and it was wonderful. I watched it, listened to his commentary before we did our interview, and it's great. It's a solid film. It's a solid release. Then we have Good Times, Sonny and Cher. This is a DVD. It has an interview with director William Friedkin, but it is obviously the commentary that Lee Gambin did. It is a Region 1 DVD. There is a Blu-ray release. It's a 4K master. I would have preferred a Blu-ray, but it's exceedingly expensive. This one I was able to get at a DVD store that Lee used to work at that happened to move up near Tullamarine, and the people there still knew who Lee was because they used to work with him. So that was great. I was able to get this for like $30, which is insane. There was 2 or 3 releases that Lee worked on that they had on DVD, which was great. So that was really good. Then we have The Great Alligator by Sergio Martino. It's another. This is actually Region A, and it's a 4K UHD. I didn't even realize it was 4K UHD. Dual discs. Lee worked on... What did he work on? I don't even know. Oh, Paradise House, Christianity in the Natural World in the Great Alligator, which is a video essay. So yeah, region A, so worth noting, but I imagine that it's only on the Blu-ray disc that features the video essay, as it says disc 1 only has a trailer on it. Oh, this one, which I still need to check if it's legit, Grizzly. I only say that because it doesn't actually have a barcode, which is very bizarre. This is a limited edition. It's like limited to 3,000 units, yet the person I bought it from happened to have like 100 of them, which is maybe not crazy. This is the Scorpion release, which features a exclusive commentary track by Lee Gambin. I already had the film, which I thought he'd worked on that release, but I was wrong, which sucks because there's like a Severin copy or another brand from the US. So, but this is the better one to get because it comes with a brand new restoration, new sound mix, and the audio commentary by Lee. In general, it's just a really fun eco horror. Then we have Western Classics 2, which I believe Lee worked on Gun for a Coward. Another one of those I have not taken out of its plastic yet. But yeah, he worked on a commentary for Gun for a Coward. As you can see here, yeah, just a solo audio commentary by Lee. You can only get it in this specific set called Western Classics 2. It's not the only Western Classics one he worked on. The only reason I'm saying the film specifically, not the set, is because that's just how it is. That's the film that he actually worked on rather than the box set. And now for letter H. Halloween 3. This is the limited edition, but you can still get the standard edition currently from Imprint, or Via Vision in this case. Lee did a exclusive audio commentary. It is in a reflective plastic case because it's a lenticular. It has a new audio commentary by Lee with special appearance by film director Joe Dante. Excellent commentary by Lee. I got this the day after he died, obviously because that's when most people found out. And luckily for me, there was a sale at JB. But yeah, I wanted to get it for that, for his commentary. So, and I listened to it that night, and it was a beautiful commentary. So definitely worth getting. There's, again, standard release is available at Via Vision and JB. So yeah. Also, it's just a tremendous film. Love it. Then we have another Kino. We have Has Anybody Seen My Gal? Which is a very interesting commentary because it also features actress Piper Laurie. So it also says fun on a lot. Piper Laurie and Gigi Peru remember Has Anyone Seen My Gal? Which Lee might have worked on that. But for the most part, he definitely did the commentary track with Piper Laurie. So it's just insane that he could just like call up Piper Laurie. Hey, you want to do a commentary track? Anyway, we've got Hellgate. This is the alternate artwork from Arrow Video. Lee did a booklet which actually stipulates collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film. It is a original pressing, first pressing release. I say that because, you know, alternate artwork, you can't get this anymore. You have to get it for the first pressing. But it just says Hellgate by Lee Gambin. If it helps, that's what the artwork looks like. But it is that emphasis at the very back, at the very end of the actual tagline, they're emphasizing that he worked on the collector's booklet. I hope that focuses. I know I'm a little shaky from that. But yeah, it actually is a Blu-ray DVD release as well, which is fine, you know, sure, why not. Gives you some versatility if you need it. Then we have Homicidal from Indicator Powerhouse. Part of the William Castle set you could get in the limited edition. This is the standard version, which features audio commentary by Lee Gambin. I believe that's all that he worked on for the release, but it is a standard release that you can still get. I actually went on the Indicator website for a lot of those and just typed in Lee's name, and they all popped up. So that was very easy, which is great. Hot Saturday from Kino Lorber. This is a solo commentary, region A. And then a very difficult one to find was Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. I think I was able to get this for a bidding war, which is actually very interesting. A collector's booklet featuring a new essay by film historian and cult cinema expert, Lee Gambin. So yeah, this is the Masters of Cinema release. It's the booklet that you have to find, but I'm pretty sure they didn't release it without the booklet. I don't think that they did. It just says special edition, so potentially, but I couldn't find a standard version of this film anyway, so yeah, it says the title there, which I don't know if I can read out loud on YouTube. You're a vile, sorry little bitch. From Jezebel to a Hollis, looking at the Southern Gothic hysteria in Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. It actually emphasizes, contains spoilers, so I have not read it because I haven't seen the film yet. And now for letter I. In and Out, a newer release, 4K UHD plus Blu-ray, features a commentary which also has screenwriter Paul Rudnick, moderated by film historian slash author Lee Gambin. I don't know if he worked on any of the other interviews for it. Then we have In Search of Dracula, which John Harrison also did the commentary for with Lee, which I think I'd already bought this before mentioning it to John, because I think he had a spare copy, but I already had it. I don't even know how I got it. Anyway, I think I got it on Amazon. This one is a old Umbrella DVD. He actually worked on Innocent Prey, which is funny because that's the bonus film. It is looking back on Innocent Prey, a conversation with PJ Souls. The only special feature is just an interview that Lee did. So, yeah, fair enough. Ironweed from Eureka. This is actually the alternate artwork. This was another difficult one to find because it's out of print. You had to get the specific one, which had the booklet, which says a collector's booklet featuring new essays on the film by Lee Gambin and Simon Ward. So yeah, The Art of Devastation by Lee Gambin. Bleak Reasoning in Ironwood. Sorry, Ironweed. Pretty sure I said Ironwood both times there. Ironweed. It's about the weed, but it's made of iron. Then we're up to the letter J. Jenny. Kino Lorber, released with Jarrett Gahan on the commentary as well as Lee. So, yep. I realize it focuses on my face sometimes instead of the actual Blu-ray. I apologize for that. This one was very difficult to find. The Jericho Mile, well out of print. Solo audio commentary by Lee Gambin. Wonderful film by Michael Mann. Cannot believe this actually had a Blu-ray release. And Lee did the commentary. What the hell are the odds? The Jetsons, the movie. Lee probably loves this. I'm very excited to listen to the commentary track. He did the commentary track, and there are interviews as well. This is a Kino Lorber release. It says audio interview of voice actor Jeff Bergman. More than likely Lee did that as well. So, yeah, interesting one from Kino. Very unsurprising that if Lee would have done the audio interview, because he did that occasionally. The one I mentioned before, Killdozer, the Kino Lorber release, again, classic, basically made-for-TV movie of, hey, what if a bulldozer gets possessed and starts killing people? It's like Christine, but on a hugely small budget. And, of course, audio commentary by film historian Lee Gambin and film critic Jarrett Gahan, and audio interview with director Jerry London. I haven't listened to the interview of Jerry London, but I did listen to the commentary track. Pretty sure I did. It was a couple of years back. Either way, very good. And now for, surprisingly, my favorite release that Lee worked on in terms of commentary, Kingdom of the Spiders. This is a Kino cult release. Lee worked on the audio commentary. There are interviews as well on it, but I don't know if Lee actually worked on those specifically. But there are 3 different commentary tracks. Lee's is basically a straight 97 minutes of just everything about eco-horror. It is your go-to. It's my favorite commentary of his just because it's like, does he breathe? I don't think he does. It's just so much information about eco-horror. It's fascinating. Beautifully done. Amazing film. Looks great. It's perfect. Wonderful release. L for Ladies and Gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. This is the imprint Blu-ray release, which I think has a commentary track. Commentary track with Lee Gambin and musician slash journalist Alison Wolfe. Yeah, there are some other interviews and stuff as well, but again, I'm not sure as to which ones Lee did outside of the commentary track. The Last Married Couple from in America from Kino Lorber, which I believe is a solo interview with Lee. Let's Dance, another Kino Lorber. I believe that's a solo interview as well. So it's always great. These ones are the very common ones to find, where you just get a bunch of solo interviews that he did. Commentaries on just random films. Link. There is a Blu-ray release that also exists for this. The 4K was just the newer one. I was surprised it wasn't part of the Kino cult or anything. Eco-horror, again, he writes about in his book, but this is a dual commentary with Jarrett Gahan as well. There is also an audio interview with the director, but I don't know if Lee worked on that. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Then we have Little Miss Marker, again from Kino Lorber. This features a commentary with Lee and costume historian Alyssa Rose. So that's very nice. Long Day's Journey into Night from Eureka. There are two versions of this film. I think there's actually another Blu-ray of this, but this is the one you're going to have to get because it includes a... actually, it's the video essay. Sidney Lumet's stage adaptation, a video essay by Lee Gambin. It does include other things, including a booklet, but that's not the necessary one. I believe I got this on eBay. Long Weekend from Umbrella Entertainment. This is part of their Ozploitation Classics line. They've done a couple releases of this. I think it all has the same special features. But if I'm not mistaken, it says Nature Found Them Guilty panel discussion. It doesn't stipulate names, but that is the one that Lee worked on. I think it, again, is like Alexandra Nicholas and Sally Christie and Emma Westwood all on this release. So, classic Aussie horror film. This was another one which I found at the treasure sale. Love and Other Strangers. Again, a solo commentary by Lee. More than likely one that he was given because he worked on it. So, yeah, I need to get more of those little stickers to emphasize that I got it from his estate sale, technically. It was referred to as a treasure sale. The letter M. Then we have Madam X, this is the release that he actually worked on. There's, I think, another release, but it wasn't this one. Audio commentary by film historians Lee Gambin and Dr. Eloise Ross. Did I mention Eloise earlier? I'm pretty sure I did. Because, yeah, I mean, it's her and Craig that I reference as the reasons that I know Lee, because technically they are. Then we have Made for Each Other. This is a DVD release, this is the reason I went to that store up near Tullamarine, because Lee did the commentary track, I believe a solo one, and they had a DVD for it was either $20 or $30, either way. Like, Good Times was probably 20 and this is probably 30, but yeah, I think they still had this mint condition, which is good. So they had a couple of these lying about, all DVDs, all Region 1, but it was just good to have them. Medusa Touch from Imprint. This features a... what the hell even does it have? Audio commentary by film historian Lee Gambin and author Kat Ellinger. So, from Imprint. I think there's another release from the US that has Medusa Touch. I don't think Lee's commentary is on that. You do have Midas Run from Kino Lorber, which is a audio commentary by film historians Lee Gambin and Emma Westwood. Again, a Region A release. They all are for Kino. Just if it helps to reference it. Moment by Moment, another Kino Lorber, which features audio commentary by film historians Lee Gambin and Sergio Mims with Maya Montanid's Smuckler, author of Liberating Hollywood, Women Directors, and Feminist Reform of 1970s American Cinema. It's a lot written there, but yeah, audio commentary. This one also wasn't on the list. They happened to have a copy, and luckily it had Lee's commentary on it, which, again, I had never even heard of it. So yeah, new audio commentary by Lee Gambin, a conversation with Neil Simon as well, which might have Lee on it. This is from Shout Select, a subsidiary of, Shout Factory, so yeah, but this was not on the Letterboxd list. This one's a tricky one. Monkey Shines. This is the Eureka version. I've had this for a couple of years now. Lee didn't work on this. Lee actually worked on the Umbrella Entertainment limited edition that was limited to 400 units, which sucks, because I would have bought it had I have known that he worked on it. I think I did at the time, but also I already had this, so I was like, oh, what are the odds? Just after I buy a different release, this was going out of print, I'll buy this, and then Umbrella picked it up. So this isn't the release that he has. It's not the release that he worked on, but it is this image here, the Umbrella release. Again, super expensive now, $350 plus on eBay, because there's only 400 that exist with his essay. However, with huge credit to Nadine Whitney and especially Jarrett Gahan, who also worked on the set, I have a printout. I will print it out in color eventually, but Jarrett was able to get in contact with Umbrella, who proceeded to send him an email of the PDF, which is the whole entire essay booklet. It's not just an essay. So you got the essay with Lee Gambin. It's a several-page thing. It's very, on my part, poorly formatted. Just trying to find the other page that emphasizes what Lee worked on. It has an interview, which says it there. There you Joyce Van Patten Goes Bananas, Remembering Monkey Shines by Lee Gambin. And it also has a essay by Jared Kahan as well. So it's the whole thing. I've just printed it out in this really awkward way. It is definitely not formatted for this, as you can tell, because it's, you know, it shouldn't look like this. But yeah, that was all that he worked on in particular. Unfortunately, Umbrella, at least to my knowledge, didn't have a spare copy lying around. At least I haven't had word that they did. So if anyone happens to have a limited edition version of Monkey Shines that has the original booklet, let me know. But outside of that, I'm happy at least to still have the booklet and still have the film separately. So it doesn't concern me too much, but at least I have it. One of those times that I'm happy to have friends who know people who know people. So yeah. And then we have the last for Arrow video here is Mute Witness. I don't know why I said the last for Arrow. The last for the letter M. This is one that Lee worked on a audio commentary with production designer Matthias, Camomere? Okay, Camomere. And composer Wilbert Hirsch, moderated by critic Lee Gambin. I don't think Lee worked on anything else in particular for this release, so you don't need to get the limited edition. I got the 4K just because I got the 4K. I don't know. Why not? The letter N. For Never Steal Anything Small. The Kino Lorber release, audio commentary with Daniel Creamer and Lee Gambin. So yeah, dual commentary. Very nice. Next Time We Love, with costume historian Alyssa Rose and, of course, Lee Gambin. Kino Lorber release. A very fun one. Night of the Lepus. This one's classic. Scream Factory release, which has a new audio commentary by Lee Gambin. Has some other features as well, but that's the only one that he specifically worked on. Of course, he mentions it in his book, talking about the eco-horrors. Gotta love it. I mean, I do. There's nothing to dislike about it. This is another one that he worked on, one of the 3 releases, which is always very annoying. I haven't taken out the plastic yet. Yes, okay. So this is Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 13, XIII. He worked on The Night Runner, which is the only way you can get the film in this particular release, with Dr. Eloise Ross. So, yeah. There's 3 noirs in this set. As much as there are harder releases to find, those were probably the most annoying, because there's 2 extra films I just don't need. Then we have Eureka's double horror featurette. We've got Nightwing and Shadow of the Hawk. Now, Lee worked on 2 versions of this. He worked on Nightwing with a brand new audio commentary with Amanda Reyes and Lee Gambin, and I believe there's a collector's booklet, which features essays by historian Lee Gambin and film scholar Craig Ian Mann. I think they basically swapped, or am I wrong? No, I'm wrong. Okay. I just know that Lee did a commentary for Nightwing, and this has got alternate artwork. I think you kind of still have to get the special edition because it comes with the booklet. I was able to find it on eBay for a decent price. Because again, he did a commentary on one film, but on the other film, he did the booklet. So yeah, he still talked about Shadow of the Hawk, the vital importance of red power, indigenous magic, and generational politics in Shadow of the Hawk. Which is so interesting, how he did the commentary on one and the booklet for the other. That has not happened on any other release. Which is great. I mean, still, there are some where he did a video essay and a commentary, but that was always for his solo release. Then we have Now and Forever, again from Kino Lorber, with a commentary with costume historian Alyssa Rose. So yeah. Everyone's favourite, Orca. This is the Studio Canal, but Umbrella Entertainment specifically, that you need to reference. This and Scream Factory have the same commentary track that feature Lee on it. This also has Moby Dick a la De Laurentiis. Martha De Laurentiis remembers Orca. I don't know if Lee did the interview for that, but either way, it's the commentary track, which was his first commentary track. So this is an out-of-print Blu-ray, same as the Scream Factory one. You might be able to find it for a decent price on eBay, but the new Studio Canal 4K restoration, the Classics Remastered, does not feature Lee whatsoever. It has a random interview of a different guy. Nothing to do with Lee. Which is annoying, because I had to tell Hyundai that, and I'm just like, yeah, it just doesn't feature Lee. They just didn't port it over. We've got Imprints on the Beach. This does not credit Lee. He didn't actually work on this specifically, but technically he did. From my understanding, and if I can find it, there is a Clothes to Die For on the Beach costumes by of Ava Gardner, video essay by costume historian Alyssa Rose. To my knowledge, because this came out the same day as another one later in this video, both of which feature a video essay by Alyssa Rose, to my knowledge, Lee got her onto the set. That was it. Because she thanks him for his help, and that's it. That's the only reference to Lee on it, which I already had this set, and hence why in my original video last year I was confused, because there's nothing referencing him. There's nothing on the actual set. There's nothing on the special features. Zilch. I don't understand that, but clearly it's just oh hey, Alyssa, you should work on this release, or maybe he just, was talking to someone at Imprint, was like, hey, I know someone who would be good at talking about costumes. Probably. I don't know, I'd have to ask Alyssa one day if I ever actually meet her. Then we have another film noir from Kino Lorber. This is Dark Side of Cinema XIV 14. I believe it's One Way Street. If we're on O, are we on O? Yes. Now this one's very interesting as a box set, because every single one of these releases, I might as well take it all out of its plastic then, are still in individual shrink wrap. No, it has nothing to do with Lee. In that regard, they're just all in their shrink wrap still. Just so weird. Anyway, audio commentary with Lee Gambin and, of course, Alyssa Rose. So, yeah, another Region A from Kino. But again, you can only get it in this release, which is annoying, but it is what it is. The last for the number, for the letter O, Out of Towners, another one that has a commentary by Lee Gambin. This is from Imprint, so it's an all regions release, and that's the only special feature is his commentary track. Anyway, we're up to P. The Pack. I did a video review about this last year, just after he passed. This is one that he contributed a audio commentary and interviews with, I think, 3 different people. There's one of them, I believe, is an interview from an old release. I think that's what it was. If not, they were all with Lee. Interviews with actor Hope Alexander, which is an insane interview because she just out the gate says that she hates the film because injury to animals and whatnot. Audio interview with actor Sherry DeBoer. I think it was Hope was Hope Alexander or someone else? Maybe it was Sherry DeBoer. I can't remember. It was one of the two. Audio interview with assistant director Thomas LaFaro and audio interview with composer Lee Holdbridge. Lee might have worked on all of those. I can't even remember. But I did a whole video breaking down the whole release. It is a very good film and a great commentary and a great slew of essay interviews. I think he worked on all of them. It was just that was the most interesting one to me because it was like she just hated the film. But then they just talked about animal rights and you could hear Buddy in the background. It's a really... It was weird to listen to because I listened to it before the commentary and I hadn't actually realized that he worked on the interviews and I was already going to do a video on it. And yeah, hearing his voice just like that, I was weirded out. I did not expect it. So, but a very, very good release. He made sure I got this actually during it was an exorcism panel that him and Hyundai and I think Sally were doing for Monster Fest about 2 years ago. So he wanted me to get, he's like, oh, you got to buy this release. I got a bunch of early copies in. So I figured, yeah, sure. And then I'll come to the panel and whatever. Great. It's a lot of fun. Then we have Indicator's limited edition release of The People Next Door. This features a audio commentary with actor Britannia Alder and Lee Gambin from 2021. I don't believe there's anything else that he worked on in particular. But yeah, so just a Region B release for the film. I think that was still available from their website like last year, so I think it's probably still available in general. This one was not easy to find. My friends Phil and Caitlin had a copy, but I was able to find someone on eBay who had the UK version. This is from Arrowdrome, before it became Arrow Video. Pin, which includes audio commentary, original trailer, plus booklet by Lee Gambin, and emphasizes in red the Lee Gambin part. I had to find someone on eBay who had this, and again for the UK version because they hadn't opened up to international shipping. and they happened to have it with the booklet and were able to send it to me, and that was really good. I mean, I bought it, obviously. It wasn't just a generous donation. I was like, oh, can you send it to Australia? And they're like, yeah, sure, let me just open up international shipping. So I bought it. I've already actually read the essay, because again, I borrowed it from Phil and Caitlin. Very fun film. Would love to get this as a reprint, as a restored version on Blu-ray. Hopefully with Lee's reprinted booklet. That would be great. From Kino Lorber, we have Portrait in Black. This is another solo audio commentary. No, Emma Westwood's on this. Very nice. Love Emma. She's great. Then we have The Possession of Joel Delaney. Another imprint release. This one is a film. This one is an audio commentary by Lee. So it does have some interviews as well and documentaries. Good. Slew of special features. But to my knowledge, it's just the audio commentary that Lee worked on. A fun one. The Prophecy from Eureka. I was able to get this from Dead End DVD. They still had a bunch that Lee worked on. This one, I believe, is a commentary. It is. New feature-length audio commentary with film writers Lee Gambin and Emma Westwood. So that's very good. This is, from Eureka, Masters of Cinema. They've got the alternate artwork as well inside the set. So yeah. I don't think it matters if you get a limited edition or not of this, because again, it's just the commentary that he worked on, not the booklet. I think this one, on the other hand, is very different. This one is... No, it's still an audio commentary. Oh, actually, this one's a video essay. Man, sometimes I get my movies confused. This is Pulse, again from Eureka, Masters of Cinema. He did Turning into Tech Horror video essay by writer and film historian Lee Gambin, the second one there. So again, Region B. My friends have a copy of this film, but not the one that he worked on. There's 2 different Blu-ray releases, so you got to get the Eureka one from the UK. Then we have Pursuit, audio commentary from Lee Gambin and comic artist/writer Tristan Jones. This is a Kino Lorber release. That one also not easy to find. I had to spend like $70-80 on it. Some of these I spent a lot of money on, and I hate that I had to, but again, the letter R. I did a lot of work to get this stuff. This one, A Certain Piggish Nature, looking back at Razorback with film historians Lee Gambin, Alexandra Helen Nicholas, Sally Christie, and Emma Westwood. I think this, because this is from Umbrella, I think this same video essay panel is on their 4K UHD release, but this is just the old Blu-ray release for the film. And it already has a lot of special features. It's all regions as well. A Reflection of Fear. Imprint release. He worked on an audio commentary, actually an audio interview as well. Audio interview with actress Sondra Locke from 2014 and actor Gordon Duvall from 2021, moderated by author/critic Lee Gambin. So I imagine it's just the second interview, but yeah. The Reincarnation of Peter Proud. This one actually comes with reversible artwork, which is nice. It is a Kino Lorber Region A release, featuring a solo commentary by Lee, plus a whole slew of just animated image galleries and Super 8 film, which is interesting. Alternate artwork is really interesting, I gotta admit. It's not really necessary, but it kind of looks really cool. It's very... I'm getting Jaws the Revenge vibe, but in a fun way, even though I'm pretty sure this predates, it definitely predates Jaws the Revenge, so there's that. But yeah, mine actually came in with a weird thing where the plastic just on the front cover, I had to sticky tape it. I don't know why that happened, but you know, it is what it is. Rent-A-Cop. Kino Lorber release, he did an audio commentary with actor Richard Masur. So, very, very film. Gotta love it. I've had this one for a while. I found it at JB. I think this is the last imprint I found. I haven't taken off its plastic, obviously. Audio commentary by Lee Gambin, as well as interview with actress Ellen Burstyn, which wouldn't surprise me if Lee worked on that as well, because I'm pretty sure him and Ellen were friends. But yeah, plus a video essay by Kat Allinger. Solid stuff. Oh, this one's really fun. Return of the Vampire. This is a Scream Factory release from the US, so it's Region A. This has 3 audio commentaries, one of which features Lee Gambin. This one is a really solid vampire film. Beautiful release. Again, it's crazy that the only special features are just commentaries, but it's 3 different commentaries for a 74-minute long film. 70. It's just 70 minutes. Wonderful. Cannot wait to hear what Lee said about the film. Ring of Bright Water. This is a weirder one, but I have it anyway. Kino Lorber, film historian, solo commentary by Lee. Ooh, this one was a difficult one to find again. I found it the limited edition of Road Games from Powerhouse Indicator. He worked on a booklet. I was able to find it from Play Music DVD. It was $100, which I got for my birthday. I got $100 from friends, from like one from my nan, $50, and $50 from my mate Bill. I was like, I'm buying this release, which is good because it's a really solid film. And the essay is Ease On Down the Road. Oh my god. Ease on down the road to nowhere, isolation and paranoia in road games. So, from 2020. But again, you can only get it on the limited edition release with the booklet. I'd still recommend the standard Powerhouse Indicator release because it is a solid release in general. As you can see, it's a lot of special features. But, yeah, also Region B. But, good stuff. Next up, we have Road Games. This is... Wait, we've done Road Games. Right, that was the Indicator release. And now we're talking about the Umbrella release, which is a duplicate, technically. But I mean, that's okay, because this is Umbrella. So Umbrella's release is all regions. And it's actually a pretty stacked release in terms of special features and everything, which is good for their Ozploitation Classics range. There is a whole special feature here saying exclusive essay by Fangoria writer Lee Gambin and gallery of stills, production shots, storyboards, newspaper reviews, promotional and artwork materials, and more. All listed there, even highlighting Lee's name, which is really cool, because I didn't know that this was a release that existed, which is great. It's about a 36-minute long video. The first 16 minutes of... maybe it's 32 minutes, but the first 16 minutes is the essay intercut with stills and behind-the-scenes shots. The essay itself is on-screen written. It does emphasize, oh, this is written by Lee Gambin, whatever, and then the last half of it is just like script excerpts and all that kind of stuff. None of it's verbal or anything. It's not a video essay. It is just a written essay, just slap bang on the screen, which is interesting. So, I don't know, a good local Australian release. Not bad. The Rover from Kino Lorber. This is a commentary with Lee Gambin and Dr. Eloise Ross. So, another Kino Lorber. Very nice. S, which is a large stack. Saigon. This is actually a pretty new release from last year, 2024, which features Lee's commentary with costume historian Alyssa Rose, which is interesting how it didn't actually list her as that, just this time as a film historian. But, you know, mine came with a sleeve, even though I didn't expect it to, but it's brand new. That's kind of how it happens sometimes with Kino Lorber releases. Region A, of course. Really interested to finally dive into this. We have Saturday Night at the Baths, which is from Altered Innocence, the same as Gay USA, which features a byproduct of the Baths, a video essay by Lee Gambin. It's also an interview as well, but I think it's just the video essay that Lee did. There was a version of this that came with a slipcover, but obviously it's not the one that I got. But I was able to get that on eBay for a decent price. Then we have Search for Beauty, with Lee Gambin and Emma Westwood from Kino Lorber. Then we have Shark, which has a shark in it. This has a video essay by film historian Lee Gambin. It is the only real special feature outside of a stills gallery. This is from Signal 1 Entertainment. It's Region B. It's a strange one, but I did find it at, I believe it was Den and DVD at the time. The other one I got for free, Silver Bullet. This is the Umbrella version. There is a 4K UHD from Scream Factory, which is a fantastic release as well, which features basically everything on this release, plus like an extra commentary or two. But one of those commentaries is with Martha De Laurentiis, which happens to also be the exact same thing that Lee worked on here, but not as a video interview. This one was Dino's Angel takes on Lycanthropy. Martha De Laurentiis remembers Silver Bullet, which of all the special features is the only one that Lee actually worked on. and is the only one that you can get only on this release. That was the one where I mentioned Cujo and stuff like that, because it's like the first panel is just him asking about that, and it's his writing. You can just tell immediately. So this is another out-of-print one that I had to find, but again, with the entity I was able to get because of work voucher, which obviously is fantastic. It's good news. Just annoying that I did end up getting the Screen Factory one as well, because, you know, it's got some great commentaries and stuff. Anyway, now we're up to another Kino Lorber. This is Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema, VI, or 6, if you speak not Roman. This one was Singapore, which I believe is this release here, which I'd already opened. I actually got this before I got the rest of them. This is commentary by film historian Kat Allinger and Lee Gambin. So, yeah. There are 3 Blu-rays in this set. I only worked on one of them. The Slayer, which I accidentally bought 2 copies of from 2 different people. One of them had a bundle, so I kept that one and gave the other one to Phil and Caitlin. But of course, because it comes with a booklet with an essay by Lee, the essay in particular is called If Someone Else Should Die Before I Wake, Demons and Dream Logic in the Slayer. Which of course features alternate artwork on the set. This is another one that you have to get the first pressing release to get the one from Arrow Video. Yeah, so again, if it has that image, that's the booklet. That's the dead giveaway that it has the booklet. So yeah, an annoying one to find, to say the least. Hence, again, why I bought it twice. Except that both of them had the booklets anyway. So anyway, this one is in a protective case because it's got a matte finish slipcover that I do not want damaged. Sleepwalkers from Eureka Masters of Cinema. We actually saw this at the Cinemaniacs. Lee didn't do the presentation for it, and I can't remember who did, but the guy who did emphasized that Lee's commentary was so good he didn't want to touch on things that Lee had already talked about. And I loved this film when we saw it. I'm like, this is amazing. I need to get this film. And this specific release features a new audio commentary with director Mick Garris and film historian Lee Gambin. So, yeah, it also has an essay and stuff, but the only thing that Lee worked on was, in fact, was just that, I believe. I don't think he worked on anything else in it. I definitely know it was the commentary. Apparently, really good commentary, so I'm very eager to listen to it. Then we have Son of Ali Baba from Kino Lorber with film historian Lee Gambin as a solo commentary. One of the difficult ones, Song of Norway. The Blu-ray is worth $200 odd. It's ridiculous, so I got this for about $60, which is still a DVD copy from Kino Lorber, which features, oh, look at that, Lee Gambin and John Harrison. John did not get a second copy of this film, which sucks. He actually mentioned it because, again, like I said, sometimes when you work on a film, you get 2 releases of it. And it was one that was so limited in its original run that it's now uber expensive on eBay. Then we have South Pacific, which is the TV movie with Glenn Close, yes, I know. Audio commentary by film historian Lee Gambin, and Lee Gambin interviews actress Eileen Graff, audio, in brackets. And yeah, then some making of and stuff. This one I only think was a DVD release from Kino, so that's the only reason I was able to get it, because it just had a a DVD release. I don't think it had a Blu-ray release at all, which is fine, but yeah. Spawn of the North, another Kino, with Lee Gambin and Britannia Alder. So, good stuff. There is a new one of this, I think, as well, coming out from a different label, but it does not feature Lee's commentary. Special Delivery, which this is actually one I had to buy with 2 films. The other film Lee had nothing to do with. It's called Vigilante Force. Worth noting that it's actually the alternate artwork. That's the most obvious factor, which is that there. Special Delivery. It was a solo commentary by Lee. Probably could have just bought the DVD release, but because that one person was selling the 2 Blu-rays together, I was like, you know what? I'll just buy them both together. Then instead of spending $90 on one Blu-ray, I'm spending like $130 on 2. So, I don't know. It worked out. Ooh, this one's a double feature. I'm going to start with the easier one to find. Squirm. This is the Kino Cult release, which comes with an audio commentary with Lee Gambin and John Harrison. Really fun release. Really fun film in general. This is really new, so it's still available. Good commentary from Lee and John. Really fun to revisit that. And because Lee had done an original booklet essay, I had to find the other version that he worked on. This is, of course, Squirm from Arrow Video, which features, does it stipulate, collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film by Lee Gambin, author of Massacred by Mother Nature, plus an interview of Jeff Lieberman by Callum Waddle, and other stuff. So for a much harder and much more expensive find, because it has different artwork again, the alternate artwork for the release, which is the main artwork. This one I found, and this is a 2013 release, like this is a very old release. One of the first ones I found that Lee worked on outside of like Pin. The person who was selling it had never taken it out of its shrink wrap, which was insane to me. So yeah, that's the essay there. The worms have turned. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages long. Sometimes you just have to do it, you know? A 5-page long essay on a release from 2013 that was still mint in its shrink wrap, which is insane to me. Then we have William Castle at Columbia Volume 2. These, you can get the individual releases. This actually happened to be a, reprint, because it's limited to 6,000 units, but I got a refurbished version from Powerhouse Indicator. I believe it was Straight Jacket, the 4th film in the release that he worked on, so you can still get this as a standard release. I'm pretty sure it's a standard one that you want to get anyway. Yes, it is, because it comes with audio commentary by Lee Gambin and Emma Westwood. So, yeah, you don't need to go all out to get a limited edition, thank God. I would have, but I was just like, you know, that's kind of crazy. That I just happen to have this release because they had refurbished it, and I was like, yeah, sure. I don't have the first volume. As a set, I have it as individual releases, one of which I think I've already shown that Lee worked on, but yeah, Straight Jacket. Sure, why not? Like I said, standard releases from Powerhouse Indicator. You have Sweet Charity, which he provided a audio commentary with Alexandra Helen Nicholas and Cara Mitchell from 2020. I think that's all he worked on, but yeah, Sweet Charity. T for... Oh god, it's alive! Anyway, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is probably, if you're looking for it now, the hardest one to potentially find. This is the limited edition second sight release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Again, one of those few times where I'm like, holy shit, thank god I bought this. Because this is super out of print, super expensive, and Lee worked on an essay, if I can find it, in this beautiful, it's a beautiful set. My family's always been in meat. Speciesism, my god, animalism and the human... Speciesism, animalism, and human consumption in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre by Lee Gambin, which is wonderful. 10 out of 10. Great title there, Lee. It is a chunky booklet. Very, 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 very chunky. And there we go. So, yeah, like I said, this is part of the big limited edition release. There's no commentary or anything that Lee did, just the big essay. Very good set, very hard to come by. So, yeah. Then we have, from Scream Factory, Thinner. This one features a slew of special features. Lee was definitely eager for me to get this, but I didn't get it till recently. Which features a audio commentary with Lee and novelist Aaron Dries. I think it's the second time that they've worked together. There's also a bunch of other interviews, but I don't believe Lee worked on any of them in particular. So, yeah, I've actually watched the interviews, and I don't think I remember Lee being credited, but definitely on the commentary track. Thoroughly Modern Millie from Kino Lorber. This is audio commentary by Lee Gambin and art historian Ian McAnally. There you go. So, again, a Region A Kino Lorber. Another Kino Lorber, Thunder in the East, which also features costume historian Alyssa Rose, as well as, of course, Lee Gambin on the commentary track. Time Out of Mind, another Kino Lorber, which is a same Alyssa Rose, costume historian, commentary track. Damn, almost had 3 for 3. We've got another Kino. This is Tomahawk with actress and film historian Retanya Alder. So, commentary with Lee and Retanya. So, good. Then we jump to V with just one release, which I haven't gotten out of its box yet. because, like I said, I haven't opened a lot of these specific ones. We have The Virginian. This is a commentary with, again, Britannia Alder, part of the Western Classics 1 set. Hold on, let me... Good gracious. Western Classics 1. I also mentioned that there was Western Classics 2, so double feature? Not really. But that's from Kino Lorber. Then we have Kino Noir number 5, The Whistler, which Lee provided. This is a limited edition version, actually. They haven't done a standard release yet, because I don't believe that this is sold out yet. It's a very recent release. 2024 release, if it helps. I believe Lee worked on... Oh, was it Voice of the Whistler? I know it's an audio commentary. Oh, there we are. Yeah, Voice of the Whistler, he did an audio commentary for. So it's just the one film. It's actually, if I'm going to be realistic, I think it's one of my least favorite films in the set, because I actually watched all of these. It comes with these fold-out sets, which are actually quite nice. But it's the fourth film in the series, even though it's technically no canon. It's like an anthology series. And it's like one of my least favorites, outside of like the last film in the set. So, yeah. Still, limited edition, but good. It's a commentary. It's not a long film. It's like 60-odd minutes. Probably, actually. No, yeah, 60-odd, because they're all basically an hour long each. Walk on the Wild Side from Arrow Video. Another one where I had to get the Arrow release, which came with the booklet. So it does have alternate artwork. I believe there's another release for this film, maybe from Kino, but it's definitely the Arrow Video release that you have to get, which again is a original pressing booklet, which is always, again, the most difficult ones to find. I was actually not able to find this anywhere until, like I said before, when I got the Come to the Five and Dine Jimmy Dean, I got it at Play Music. So they happened to have it there, and it wasn't on their website, and they had the booklet in the release as well, which is exactly what I wanted. Actually, I think they had this on their website, but they didn't emphasize the fact that they had the booklet. A good time is right, everything else is wrong. Strolling down to New Orleans in Walk on the Wild Side by Lee Gambin. So that one was insane to find. Like, it was good to find it with the actual essay, because that's what I wanted. But finding the Jimmy Dean one was the, like, holy shit, I can't believe I found this. That's actually when I mentioned to them that I was looking for all these films, and they recognized me from my channel, which is cool. Then we have Cold War Creatures, 4 films from Sam Katzman. Lee worked on The Werewolf. There is a limited edition release, which I bought the standard version. As you can see, it's just standard cases. The limited one has a booklet and posters and all that jazz, but it's The Werewolf in particular that Lee worked on. Audio commentary by Lee. There's actually a lot of special features on it, including like video essays and stuff. There is a good variety of stuff on this set, but they had the limited edition version there available, but I couldn't be bothered buying it because I'm like, none of it actually references Lee, nor is it specifically, like, there might be a special thanks in the booklet, but there were 2 booklets actually, but it was only the commentary he worked on, so I got this. Then we have When Tomorrow Comes. This is another Kino Lorber release with film historian / author Lee Gambin and costume historian Alyssa Rose. Again, a Region A release from 1939. Now for probably the most expensive purchase, and maybe the most expensive film I've ever bought. Who Can Kill a Child? This is the Mondo Macabre version, limited to 1,000 units, which sucks because it's the one that Lee worked on. There is a standard version from the same person. It does not include the booklet, which is a really interesting booklet, which is Hijos Malvados de Almanzoro, The Rise of a New Civil War in Spain by Lee Gambin. So the whole booklet is his essay with images and posters and all that jazz. I mean, look, the release still comes with, like, art cards, but, yeah, it just sucks that I had to spend that much money to get this. I think it was one of those, it It was the most expensive, but it was not a desperate out-of-pocket thing. I had just sold a bunch of figurines that totaled $200. Whew. And I was like, I'm buying that film now. So I made the money by selling stuff I already had, so that was good. But yeah, it stipulates exclusive 12-page booklet by Lee Gambin. So yeah, Monde Macabre, it's in the red case. You'll know it when you see it. If you're searching for it, because some people are selling this for upwards of $500. So it's $200 sounds like a lot, but that's the cheapest I could find it anywhere. And I was looking for a while, so it's not ideal. Anyway, I got Wild Women. I think I got this one with Country as well. It was from a guy in Tassie, of all places, had them both together. Audio commentary by Lee Gambin. This is a Kino Lorber release. So, yeah. Witness from Arrow Video. This is the 4K. This one is an uncredited release. There is a limited edition that comes with a booklet. I only got the standard 4K. I'm debating getting the limited edition, but the limited edition is only a Blu-ray disc, not a 4K. They're sold out of the 4K ones. I'm debating getting it, but John Harrison, who wrote an essay in it, actually has a physical version of it, and there is no reference to Lee whatsoever. On the Letterboxd page, it specifically says that Lee helped to get people together for he did uncredited work on the special features, and given that John worked on it, which maybe Lee did the point of, hey, get John on this to do a essay, he's great, I don't know. But there is an audio commentary by film historian Jared Kahan, who of course was good friends of Lee, so from my understanding, it's probably just that. It sucks that there's no reference. Like, John looking through the book, there's no special thanks crediting Lee whatsoever. So I got this anyway because I wanted to get the film. But that's just my knowledge of that there is absolutely no reference to Lee whatsoever. Doesn't it suck when that happens? So that's the third release that has no reference to him, I'm pretty sure. Then the third one, that might be the second of three. I think there's maybe four, but that's the last one I'm about to show you after this. Wrong Turn from Umbrella. This is actually their limited edition at the time because it came with a poster and stuff, but you can get on the standard edition. It doesn't matter because it comes with Beware the Woods, The History of Rural Horror, a video essay by author and film historian Lee Gambin. So yeah, it's the first special feature. So it is on the standard Blu-ray disc. You don't need a limited edition for this. I just happened to buy the limited version because I felt like it. I don't know. The World of Susie Wong. This is from Imprint, and again, has no reference to Lee whatsoever. This, and like I said with Witness, and like I said with On the Beach, all there are credits to him online to some degree, but nothing specific on the actual sets themselves, which sucked because this cost me $200 because it's an out of print. It was only 1,000 units. I mean, it's still a good enough set on its own, you know. It's a 2-disc case with The World of Susie Wong, and I think it's called Hollywood Chinese, which is a documentary, but it does feature a video essay by Alyssa Rose, which is Kaleidoscope of Colors, The Fashion of Susie Wong, video essay by cinema fashion historian Alyssa Ross, actually. No, Alyssa Rose. I've seen from her Facebook that she had thanked Lee for his help getting her on to this release and On the Beach, and they came out the same day. So, from my understanding, that's all it was, that he just pointed people in the right direction, which is still fine. I'm happy to have the sets. Like, this one was just one of those annoying things that was added to the Letterboxd list very, very late in the game. So I didn't even know it existed until I thought I bought every single one of the imprints, but of course it was way out of print and you had to get on the secondhand market. So yeah, that was disappointing, that it has no reference to Lee whatsoever. Am I disappointed to own it for that reason? Not particularly, but if I didn't have this Letterboxd list, I would never have known that Lee even worked on it, so at least I already had On the Beach, and that's another super rare out-of-print one to get. So again, there's no on-screen credits towards him, nothing in the booklets, which doesn't make any sense to me. Last but not least, this one is kooky. Again, technically called Dracula's Dog. It is Zoltan, Hound of Dracula from Kino Cult. This is the 4K. He had done the commentary with John Harrison, which was on the previous Blu-ray release. You don't need to get the overly fancy 4K release if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine because it's just a commentary track that's on both discs. Which again, the one benefit I give to Kino is the fact that the special features are on both, because it initially started as a 4K scan on a Blu-ray disc, which they then upscaled or whatever, remastered it for a 4K UHD. So yeah, I just got it because it was just newer and on sale. And it still references Lee at the start because it came out after his passing. So yeah. Well, that's all of them. And as you can probably tell, there were some clips in there with 4 of them in particular, and now here, where I've actually filmed this 2 weeks after that, or most of the rest of the footage that you've just seen, mostly because I got to the point of editing this video and realized I had 4 more releases to find, including a duplicate of Road Games, which that and Squirm are the only 2 films that he did 2 different releases for, which is very interesting and unique in and of its own. But yeah, I didn't mind that I had to search for those, because Road Games I found for $30 on eBay, thank God. And the other 4, which is Reincarnation of Peter Proud, When Tomorrow Comes, in Saigon, I found on Amazon for $30 to $40 each, which is good. But as it goes, this was a very long and extensive and expensive haul in all regards. I'm lucky that I had a lot of these to begin with, mostly because they were already films I was interested in. They just happened to feature Lee, and I've put a lot on myself to kind of do this, but I've also got a lot of people to thank for it. Like Bill Ackman, for example, he was the person who put together the original list, and sure, there was a lot of releases that he was missing, but the details that he put into every single one of the listings was perfect. Like, it helped me to find every single release that I was looking for and to make sure I got the right ones. Now, of course, there is stuff like All of Me, which is still on there, which it doesn't have an official release yet, and there is actually another release which I can't talk about yet because I've been told about it, but it doesn't have an official announcement. So there will be another film released, but I cannot say what it is at all, unfortunately. But if you know Lee, it was one that he loved, so I'm very excited for when that does come out, and I'll mention it in a later video when it gets announced. So I'll make a whole big shindig about it. But yeah, so I'm at least got something still to look forward to in terms of more releases that Lee worked on. I don't know if there's anything else. I hope that there is, to a degree, because, you know, I always want there to be more, but I've got... my head, there's like 170, including the one that hasn't been announced yet, and including the Steve Martin film that doesn't have a release at all. So yeah, so it's on my Letterboxd list, which I will link down below. I think it's 167 because, of course, there's the 2 duplicates. And there is, of course, the issue of stuff like, you know, On the Beach and the Susie Wong and Witness, all of which feature no reference to Lee whatsoever. And technically, you don't even need to get them if you're looking for them. They're uber expensive now because of how hard they are to find. But just the fact that he worked on them, and I know he worked on them, but there's no reference to that in the sets themselves, is a bit annoying, but it's like, I know that he worked on them to a degree. I'm happy to have them for those reasons. Like, I already had On the Beach, not hard to find, at least when it came out. But that and Susie Wong now, whew, difficult. But it is what it is, you know. I had to draw a line of where do I want to go with this, and I'm like, I just kind of got to bite the bullet and see, you know, how much Lee contributed to some of these. And to be fair, I'm happy to have all these releases, from the variations of commentaries to video essays to written essays. Oh, there is so much work that he did on so many of these releases. And of course, I've got more people to thank in that regard. My God, there's so much to think about because it's been such a long video. But who else are we thanking here? Let's do a whole Oscars rundown. Well, obviously, Hyundai Nguyen. Huge props to her for helping me out. She contributed a lot to be able to help me to find so many releases I didn't know of and to be able to get them from the US, which is wonderful. It made this journey a lot cheaper and easier. Caitlin Kohler and Phil Johnston, both of whom had a bunch of these releases as well, so I was able to delineate and figure out which ones I needed to collect, and what specific versions, and also I can save my money and wait until buying them at a cheaper time, because I know people who have them. I still ended up buying them anyway, stuff like Dogs and the Grizzly and whatever. Nadine Whitney for helping me get in contact with Umbrella Entertainment, and of course Jared Khan, who help me get in contact with Umbrella Entertainment for the Monkey Shine set, because oh my god. Again, I don't have the set, but I have the essay, and that's really all I need. And essay and interview. But I love it. Thank you so much for helping me with that. It saved me a lot of money and stress. John Harrison, because he gave me one of the films, which is great, even though of all films it was the goddamn Dracula one. Was that the one, the Billy the Kid vs. Dracula? Of all the goddamn movies. Sally Christie and Alexandra Nicholas and Emma Westwood all contributed different elements probably without even their own knowledge, because they had just worked on these things before and I just happened to have them for those reasons, or they had posted about it with whatever commentary they had, or whether it was their favourite releases or just stuff that they'd worked on with Lee, and I was like, great, I got to add that to the list, and just indirect stuff, but it helped. So yeah, that's all. So again, I'll mention his other release when it comes out, when it's announced. But aside from that, I hope this is a thorough enough list to go through to help anyone if they want to find any of these releases, because again, there is so much that he worked on, and I hope I was able to put in enough details for every single thing. Yeah, look, Lee meant a lot to a lot of us, and I mean, this is already going to be a niche video for those who were friends or fans or whomever, and want to understand how much of a degree he impacted the physical media presence, and the fact that I've put my time and effort into getting all these, which initially was just a run of the show. I'll just grab this one. Hey, Lee worked on that, or Lee worked on that. Then eventually I realized I got to put my foot down and figure out what the hell I'm doing, because there's a lot of things that Lee worked on, and I think I should get them all, because if I'm doing anything, I got to do that. I don't know whether it would have made him proud or happy or whatever. I think he would just be happy to know that I'm going to watch these goddamn movies, because that's always what he was happy about, that we watched the movies and we collected them and we had this physical media for us to share and to talk about and to discuss and to remember. So if anything, that's the joy for the physical media that he helped to perpetuate, is that we have all this information and knowledge that he had, that he knows about these films, and that's encapsulated within these discs. And because of that, I now have that information ready at hand to listen to him talk in his way about all these films, and it's a real joy. So I hope this helped, this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy.